Hello everyone. So today we are going to start a new chapter, that is Judiciary, Chapter 5, Political Science of Class 8. So here we are going to discuss about the third organ of government, that is Judiciary. As we know, we have three organs of government. First is legislature, which makes the law. Second is executive, which implement the law, and judiciary checks on the law. Now, so as you can see here, legislature formulates the law, executive implement the law, and judiciary distribute the law. So here we have the role of judiciary. Generally, judiciary have three different laws, three different roles. The first one is dispute resolution. If there is a conflict between two citizens, between a citizen and government, between two state government, or center and state government, then we can proceed to court. We are free to move to the courts for our dispute resolution. Second work of judiciary, or you can say second role of judiciary, is to uphold the law and enforcing fundamental right. If any of our fundamental rights are being violated, we can approach to court. We have these fundamental rights, and the last fundamental right, that is right to constitutional remedies, provide us this right to move to the court if we think that our any of the right has been violated. We can move to either High Court or Supreme Court. The last one is judicial review. Judicial review, it can strike down particular laws passed by the parliament. If some laws which are not in favor of people, which is not in favor of the citizen, then the Supreme Court can easily strike down the following law, and it believes that these are a violation of basic structure of constitution. Here it comes, independent judiciary. As we know that judiciary should be independent, and Indian judiciary is totally independent. Judiciary, as we all know, it protects life, liberty and property of citizen through the rule of law. Now, the system of courts have efficient and impartial judges, constitute an independent judiciary, which is the backbone of democratic system. As we all have right to vote, we all have right to vote. Similarly, we all have right to seek equal justice also. To protect and ensure citizens' rights, it is necessary that the court perform their functions independent and impartial. If judiciary will be dependent on someone, then the decision that is given by the judiciary will be or would be dependent or impartial. The Indian Constitution also advocates separation of power. We have three different powers, three different organs of government, that is executive, legislature and judiciary, and all three powers check on each other. The judgment of the Supreme and High Court enjoy full security of services, and their personal safety is the duty of government. All kind of police or security is to be done by the government. Now, the structure of courts in India, we have three different levels of court: lower court, high court and supreme court, as you can see in the diagram. Now, most people interact. They are generally called subordinate or district courts. Each state is divided into a district that are presided over by the district judge. At the district level, we have district judge. Now each state has a high court, which is the highest court of the state. At the top is the Supreme Court, that is located in New Delhi and is presided over by Chief Justice of India. The decision made by Supreme Court are binding on all over courts in India. Whatever the decision is given by the Supreme Court, it should be implemented on all over India. Okay, so let's discuss some of the general points that we have. The first, high courts were established in three presidencies like the British India, Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. The High Court of Delhi came up in 1966 and currently there are 25 high courts in India. The states with common high courts are Punjab and Haryana, Maharashtra and Goa, and Assam, Mizoram, Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh are altogether they have one high court. Jammu and Kashmir is only UT, Union Territory, which has a high court. Now you can see some of the pictures of high courts of India, Calcutta, Madras and Bombay High Court. All three courts is similar as like British architecture because they were made at the time of Britishers. Now we have Patna High Court. You can see this Patna High Court in 2017. It completed its 100th year. Now appellate system, which is a very important thing to understand. So we will understand this appellate system with the help of a case, State versus Lakshman Kumar and other. In February 1980, Lakshman Kumar married to 20-year Sudha Goyal, a girl. On 2nd of December 1980, Sudha died in hospital due to burn. Now, this incident, because she died on 2nd of December, so this incident of burning took place on 1st December. And the trial court, the lowest court where the criminal cases are seen and heard by the judge. So in trial court, convicted Lakshman, his mother Sakuntala and his brother-in-law Subhash Chandra and sentenced all three of them to death. Now, in November 1983, the three accused went to the High Court to appeal. So this appeal system is known as appellate system, appeal against this verdict of trial court. Now the judgment that is given by High Court was that High Court set all three free. Sudha had died due to an accidental fire. It was the judgment of High Court and by the kerosene stove. Lakshman, Sakuntala and Subhash Chandra, all three were acquitted, found non-guilty. In 1980, women group spoke out against dowry death and it was a similar case of dowry death. So women held demonstration and filed a separate appeal against this High Court decision in the Supreme Court through the Indian Federation of Women Lawyers. In 1985, judgments of Supreme Court, Lakshman and his mother. The last judgment of Supreme Court was that Lakshman and his mother found guilty but acquitted the brother-in-law because they did not have enough evidence against him. So this is known as appellate system where the accused one can appeal. So now let's discuss the branches of legal system. Legal system, you can see here, can be divided into two different parts. One is criminal law. Criminal law can be described as crime against the society, against the state. The second is civil law. Civil law means violation of rights and simple kind of dispute like land dispute. Law defined as offense, we can include this in criminal law, any law which shows the offense. For example, theft, harassing a woman to bring more dowry, murder, etc. It usually begins with lodging of an FIR, first information report, with the police who investigate the crime, after which a case is filed in the court. There are some procedures of filing the case. Like if there is a crime committed, then the first thing is FIR, then charge sheet and the case, the trials. Then if found guilty, if the accused one is found guilty, then the accused one can be sent to jail and also be fined or both. Now let's discuss about the civil law. Civil law is simply, it's a kind of harm or injury to the rights of the individual. Like if any of the fundamental rights are being violated by someone, whether it's the individual, whether it's the group of people, whether it's state, it's central government, anyone, these things can come under the civil law. Some examples here is dispute relating to sale of land, purchase of good, rent matters, and divorce cases. These all comes under civil law. In this case, we don't have to lodge an FIR, we just have to file a petition in High Court or Supreme Court, and we have some civil courts also at district level. In a rent matter, either the landlord or tenant can file a case or both can file a case. Court gives specified relief asked for, that means in a kind of money or something, but not any kind of jail. Now, so as we have discussed about a lot about the Indian judiciary, that the judiciary is independent, that the judiciary have different levels, the structures of judiciary, but there are some problems also. Not everyone access to court. So why? Why it is not possible for every person to access the court? It's just due to two important things. First is due to money. Due to the lack of money, the poor people is not able to access the court. The second major reason is illiteracy. Illiteracy is a major reason because most of the people in India are illiterate, and due to that they are not aware with the things, the procedure of the court. So now we have the court judgments. The next problem that we have is a court judgment that people believe work against the best interest of the common people. Sometimes what we have seen that the judgments of the courts are being turned. Some recent judgments are far cry from earlier judgment, means that there is a lots of difference between the earlier judgment on the same matter. The previous judgment was different from now the present judgment. Inordinately long number of years that court takes to hear a case. So these are some of the problems in Indian judiciary. A very important problem that we have still the poor have are access to court. Because they are poor, they are not able to go to the court and file their case. Generally, if we talk about principle, in that principle it is written that court is for everyone. Court distributes justice to everyone, and everyone is access to court, whether a poor, whether a rich, whether a girl or a boy, belong to any caste, any religion, anyone. But in reality, access to court has been difficult for a vast majority of poor in India, because generally when we take a look to these legal procedures, it involves lots of money and paperwork, and as we know that poor people, those who don't know how to read or how to write, how they can file a case, and other thing, those who are dependent on daily wages, they don't have even money. So how they can have the access to court? Just thinking about access to court is really a very different thing for them. Now, by seeing all these things, Supreme Court in 1980 devised a new mechanism, means introduced a new mechanism of public interest litigation or PIL to increase access to justice. What happens in this? It allowed any individual or organization to file PIL in High Court or Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights were being violated. Whether the person is knowing or not knowing, if the person is not able to, if generally many poor people are not able to access the courts. So in that case, any organization, any governmental, non-governmental organization can file a PIL for them. Now the legal process was greatly simplified because anyone can file a case regarding anyone. And even a letter and telegram addressed to the Supreme Court and High Court could be treated as a PIL. So with the help of this PIL, justice really secured. And generally some examples are also here, like bonded laborers, they were released, they were rescued from this inhumane working conditions. Then after some securing the release of the prisoners in Bihar, many prisoners were still kept after their completion of their punishment, they were kept in prison. So with the help of this PIL, it was solved. And this midday meal was also implemented all over India with the help of this PIL. Now, as we can see, when we are talking about the problems, we have a big problem of time. The time that is taken by the judicial system. So generally, the final judgment of some cases still takes 20 years, 25 years. So what is the reason? The biggest reason is here the vacancies. We can see here the Supreme Court sanctioned judge strength is 34 and still the working strength is 34. It is equal. But if we talk about High Court, we can see that the sanctioned strength is 1079, but still the working is 655, and still we are having vacancies of 424. Then district and subordinate courts, we can see here that 22,644 sanctioned strength is here. That means this number of judge can be there in court, but still the working strength is low, 17,509, and still there is vacancies of 5,135. uh, so this is the reason that the judge why a simple case is have taking so much time. Okay, this is so here we all know that India is a democratic country, and this judiciary of India played an important role in Indian society, Indian government. Now we can say that judiciary is a third pillar of Indian democracy, and it also checks the power of executive and legislature. Their power is constrained just because of judiciary, and it also protects the fundamental rights of the citizen. The whole credit of this judiciary system, or everything, the whole credit goes to the members of Constituent Assembly, those who have made the respectful, honorable constitution for us. Okay, this is all for today, and signing out, Aman Sharma. Thank you.